just so I can say Bone Town. And you all will really enjoy when you listen back to the playback and realize when I started recording this thing.
Oh, I did.
Bone Town. Brought the bones back to Bone Town. Went to go talk to the Burgermeister, or the Baron, or whatever. Where's his fucking name? I have it here somewhere. The dude in charge.
He's the Burgermaster, but he has the title of Baron. So you've got both of those are correct.
Yeah, and it turns out he was not in, but across from his study, we heard some noises, and Irina was tied up in there. And it turns out, we then found out that was Isaac's room. So we went storming across town to go pick up Isaac so that we can all have a conversation with the Baron about why he kidnapped our friend. We found Isaac and his freaky arms setting up for the big festival, and were able to subdue him without any fight with any of the guard that was around, which was a huge accomplishment as far as I'm concerned. And so I don't know if we are in the process of dragging him back or if we have effectively dragged him back, but that's sort of where we've ended.
Yeah, I'll let you have brought him back to the manor. Do you happen to recall what else was in Isaac's room with Irina?
I don't want to talk about it. Thank you, Ted. Because I was not going to talk about
it. I like that you guys are in Barovia, and so far this guy Blinksy appears to be your actual main antagonist.
Oh yeah, like I'm totally going to try and get Strahd like on our team so we can all pair up and take down like Suicide Squad style and take down Blinksy.
Oh, okay. So between your march across town and your skirmish with Isaac Stranzi, and then the march back, we'll say about 45 minutes have passed since you have left the Burgermaster's manor. And in that time, there has been many members of the garrison who have been called to stand at the manor. The Baron is on the porch, just within the threshold of his house. There are guards in the street. There are guards in his garden. There are guards into his backyard. There, all of them carrying either spears or long pikes from which they could strike you at quite the distance. But you have bound and unconscious slash subdued. You know, the whole thing about like long terms of unconsciousness doing incredible brain damage, but certainly not capable of resisting or breaking bonds. You have Isaac with his fiendish appendage along with you. The Baron sort of has himself and his hounds on either side, chest out and chin lifted, looking down at all of you. There is almost the smell of fear from him, but the mask of someone who will not be intimidated. Waits for you to speak or approach.
Um, I will grasp my amulet and whisper a little, well, Twilight Rider, may your moonlight silver my tongue. I will use channel divinity, my channel divinity, for emissary of peace. And I will walk forward. Well, hello. We have found Isaac, and he has readily admitted to kidnapping our friend.
Has he given you a reason for doing so?
Well, he mentioned something about Irina being his sibling. But Kenna knows she is free to make her own decisions.
Isaac has been a servant of the law since his orphaning. It is perhaps in the best interest of Lucky and your friend if I were to take Isaac and speak with him personally. See what information I can get for you.
Well, that's a very kind offer, but we are all friends here. No reason we can't speak together as a group.
Could you
Although
roll me a...
I'm not sure that we need all of these guards.
Could you roll me a persuasion check and then tell me what you roll?
16, and then there's +5 for the emissary piece, so it's a 21.
Mm-hmm. If it were the case that you have overcome Isaac, as friendly as we may be, his guards will be my protection. But perhaps you may speak with Isaac yourselves. He turns around and calls loudly for a servant. Attendant brings a chair out and sets it on the path between the front gate of the yard and the porch, and then backs back into the house quickly.
And you and your guards will assure us that we have nothing to fear from Isaac?
I give my word.
Well, I appreciate that, but I'm not entirely sure what that means. If Isaac approaches us or Irina with the intent to do harm, you will order your guards to stop him?
He nods.
I look at Zeldrin and Ariam. Does this sound sufficient to you?
I mean, he's wrapped in rope. I'm not too worried right now. I believe I'm still Rokea, right?
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
been an hour since the fight.
Yeah.
Well, I was I was going to unwrap him. Thought that might lead to him being a little more talkative.
Irina just puts a hand on your shoulder and very subtly shakes her head, just fear in her eyes.
Well, I think that settles that then. Okay, you want to help me take this gentleman off of Floof and put him in this chair?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Great, well, put him in the chair, and I will reach down and touch his cheek and restore 1 hit point.
He wakes with an aggressive grunt. I think I've described him a little bit in like his build and everything, but his face, now that you're close to it, he has a shorn head and weathered features. There's not a lot of sun in Barovia, but the elements have come for his countenance. He looks battered, and just by how tall he is, he seems relatively unscarred, at least in the face, which is somewhat surprising, given what would appear to be his reputation as a violent individual. He looks around, squinting and through narrowed eyes, and he sees Irina and goes to get up, but he is completely restrained. He cannot get out of these ropes.
Zeldrin does kind of like step in front of Irina a bit at that, though. Zeldrin, there is no peace in Zeldrin's eyes. He is angry.
Well, welcome back, Isaac. As you can
What's the
see,
meaning of this?
oh, well, I do apologize. Perhaps those bumps on the head were a little harder than we had intended, for this is exactly what we told you we would do. Baron asked that you be brought back for a conversation, and if you will take a look around, you can see that you have been brought back to the Baron for a conversation.
His head turns only a little to sort of see the gardens beside him. Does not look up at all.
So as you can see, we kept our word, which may not be important to you, but it is important to me. For keeping one's word is how we begin to establish some trust between us. And I want you to be able to trust us, just as I want to be able to trust you. But it's hard with only knowing part of the story and part of the information. From our perspective, you've kidnapped our friend. And I believe you said something about her being kin, but I think we're going to need to hear a lot more of the details of that particular relationship. You feel comfortable sharing those with us?
He spits and growls. She was taken at the same time when our father and my arm were taken when we were small children. I know her face anywhere. werewolves in the forest. Hunted closer to our lands. We're traveling with our uncle, our father. And we were attacked. Mauled. The arena was taken. Known somehow that she had not been killed like our father. Cannot tell you how I know that.
Well, a little strange that you know this, but you can't tell me how you know this, but we can get back to that, I guess. How many years has it been since you have seen Irina?
At least 20 years.
And you knew all of these 20 years that she was alive?
I felt it. It's an instinct. I knew it.
And what had you done prior to seeing Irina over here? What had you done in the intervening 20 years to try and reunite with your sister, whom you knew was alive because you felt it?
Waited.
Is there anybody alive that knew you when you and your sister were together?
We were born here. There are folks who knew us when we were young.
Well, let's say, for the sake of argument, that all of this story checks out. What rights and what recourse does Irina have in this circumstance?
He has no answer.
Well, if you have no answer, I'll ask the Lord of this particular city. Baron, I ask you, if it turns out, and it may or may not, that Isaac's story here is in fact the truth, and Irina is his long-lost sister, with whom he was separated from 20 years ago, well then, what rights does the town of Valaki afford her?
Under different circumstances, a perpetrator would be retrieved by Isaac and handled with justice within this estate.
Hear that,
I saw
Isaac?
justice.
Can, even with his head bowed, almost see the corners of his mouth just turning up. Isaac's.
Tell me, what would be the standard recourse, the standard punishment for someone kidnapping and abducting, holding someone bound and gagged in a room against their will?
Bound as he is, just the loosest ends of the fingers of Isaac's fiendish arm, just curls of smoke and sparks of ember begin to drift down into the grass. There is sickly silence in the yard.
That's about what I thought.
Oh, Isaac. I see the beginnings of a grin, and I do not know what that demonic hand is doing, but I suspect it isn't good, and I must warn you. You want to do everything you can to keep talking to me. See, I'm relatively pleasant, and I do believe that most people, and certainly you, are worthy of a second chance. I can't say that my brother and my friend have the patience or the redemptive instinct that I do. So I would please to try and keep this civil and perhaps stop whatever foolishness it is that you're thinking about currently.
The Baron speaks up and he says, "Perhaps this is a matter the four of us could speak to with some privacy."
I do not see why Irina should be excluded from that conversation, nor do I think this one should go unsupervised.
Lips are pressed thin. And he says, "There are guards enough. The young miss may join us."
Yeah, I will follow the Baron.
Roquet, do you think McCormick could just keep a watchful eye on things out here?
Yeah, I could. I mean, do all three of us need to go with the Baron? I could wait here just in case someone tried to do something funny. I'll leave McCormick.
Produce a crab.
Sure.
Set him on the ground.
Put him on Luke's head.
Just set him right on Isaac's head.
I thought about setting him right on Isaac's lap, like
Dead
Right.
crab.
Not the only one with a claw, motherfucker.
Snip.
Do the three of you go to the house?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay. Irina does as well. Within the house, the Baron immediately turns you all to the parlor, and which is now empty of tea party guests entirely, though their plates and things remain unretrieved in this room. Closes the door behind him and says, "Perhaps, given the situation, it would be best taken if Isaac, under my watch, were kept within the house. Not allowed to leave, remain inside. In the duration of the festival, he should be kept within. Place guards as necessary, keep him within his room. Does not go unsupervised."
I have seen no hint from that man that he intends to back down from his desire to possess Irina. Nor do I think any of your guards could maintain to control him and keep him in his room.
He's still sort of facing the door, and just listens to you. Do not see another. Do not see another course of action.
Is there no prison in this town? No cell?
One any better than the walls of this house.
If your decision is to hold him captive here, you are the lord of this town. I cannot tell you otherwise. But know that we shall be beside Irina, and should he find his way back to her, we will do what we must to stop him.
Still facing away, he nods. I have known him since he was a boy. Since his sister vanished.
He mentioned losing that arm. When did he get the new one?
Much later. He was a small child when he was attacked. He was nearly a man. It suddenly appeared.
Suddenly appeared. Do you know nothing more about it?
I do not.
Was there a noticeable change to the way that he acted whenever the arm arrived?
No.
So he was always a brute?
He remained silent.
Max, you've referred to that arm as fiendish. Is that something that we've picked up on it being fiendish?
You've not done any checks for it, but it is black and red and scaled and spiked and hooked. if you were,
It don't look right.
yeah, like it is,
It's not a diseased arm, it's a fiend arm.
yeah, like fiendish, devilish. Like I'm using those words which in D&D have like a specific meaning, but
Yeah.
that would definitely be like the kind of adjectives you would put to this. Yeah.
It looks evil and of the lower planes. We don't know if it's devils or demons or what.
Right.
I think during this conversation, Sazerac has been sort of casually paying attention, but he's walking around from like plate to plate, like picking scraps of food off of them and stuff in his mouth. And at this point, with his mouth half full, he said, apologies. I'd almost forgotten all the excitement. Ileana and Boris, turns out they were struck with civic pride and a rather foolish endeavor, but born of great patriotism and love for you, of course. They set out to instruct those of the lands of the greatness and safety that could be found within the walls of Vallaki. Perhaps the upcoming festival was the incident that pushed them over the edge for their joy of your leadership. I'd be surprised if you saw them again.
Oh, it is unfortunate though that they going out and telling these stories of the safety to be found here in Vallaki when a creature with that fiendish arms out kidnapping people.
People
That is an
of
excellent
Vallaki,
point.
people of Vallaki have come to accept that.
I assume you mean the arm and not the kidnapping.
Come to accept that Isaac has been tolerable presence, and there has been guidance given to him.
Well, Irina, in all of this, we have not asked you. We will certainly do as you wish, but should it turn out that Isaac's story is correct and that you are in fact kin that have been separated for 20 years, what, if anything, would you like to do about that?
I have a brother. He is back home in Barovia. That monster out there is no blood of mine. Even if he is, he's not. Permission, sir. She sort of directs herself somewhat towards the Baron and says, "That creature cannot be permitted to walk your city streets. He's no guardian." He has no response to her.
You remember anything he said? Getting attacked by werewolves and all that?
Do not. Father Lucian has told me that my father found me in the woods when I was little, but I was very little.
You mean Father Donovich?
Oh, yes, yeah. Thank you.
Mhm.
All these fucking names. But he knows my face. Somehow he knows who I am.
He knew your face as you are now, even though he hasn't seen you since you were a toddler, a babe. That is strange, not to mention the dolls in his room. Baron, I'm not sure if you've spent much time in there. It's a sickly obsession that he's got.
Oh,
Baron, what
brother,
you've got
please.
on your hands is not a misguided simple man. It is a rabid dog that is gonna get someone killed if it's not put down.
The Baron knows that. The Baron's been the one holding his leash this long is the problem. Isn't it? You're a little worried without him you might not be able to keep order of your city.
Silence in the room is now quite cold.
Oh, but we know that's nonsense. We know that Ilyana and Boris's civic enthusiasm was not misplaced. That your leadership is as great as they believed. You don't rely on Isaac to maintain this enthusiasm any more than you rely on any other individual. Surely you must know that.
His chin lifts, you can see that his jaw sets.
It's the festivals and the happiness that maintain order here, not a brute like Isaac.
Why don't you roll me another persuasion check?
Mm-hmm.
I will give you advantage since the rest of your crew has been aiding you.
That's a 30.
30. Sometimes I know it's just going to be a success. I'm going to give you the good ending anyway, but it does feel good to see that you can roll a 30.
Right. Yeah.
You can hear a shaking, stealing breath square his shoulders, and in a subtle movement turns so that he can just see you out of the corners of his eye. We should put down this dog.
Well, it does sound like we are all in agreement then. How do you feel it is best? Do you want to make it a matter of state and do it publicly? Or do you prefer Isaac to just disappear quietly, never to be heard from again?
The festival is so near. Better, I think, to be taken care of. Subtlety.
Rokea, Zeldrin, what say you?
I think there's a grand likelihood that we are going to walk back out those doors and he's going to uh, break free of his binds and attack us once more.
I will check McCormick.
You can even peer out the window if you felt like it. But looking through the crab's eyes, you see that many of the guards around, there is a shaking fear and almost a heightened tension. Some of them have directed their spears a little bit more inwards towards the garden. Some of them are keeping all within their ability their own ground, and some have even taken a step back. Isaac is unmoving.
Yeah, best we do it quick. I think those. Don't think it's going to last much longer in there.
Well, is there anything else we want to know from him before we end this? Anything else about the attack or abduction, or perhaps that arm?
I don't think there's much more that he can tell us. I think as far as the abduction goes, it happened. We can draw suspicion and such from it, but I don't think he would know why or who orchestrated it. And as Irina said, she has a father and she has a brother. I am curious
Well,
about the arm.
I mean, I do have a bit of magic prepared that will make him more likely, to be honest, if I can get such magic to take hold. But if we have no questions worth answering, then that procedure would be moot. Well, let's go out there and I don't know, what are we going to do? Are we going to take him away somewhere to deliver the coup de grace, or are we going to do it just outside?
I think at least somebody should know that this has been decreed. Right? I know you want it done quiet like, but I think people will notice when he goes missing. When he's not showing up, knocking heads, putting people in stocks.
This will be something that I can determine by the festival, how it should be presented to the city.
You've got a quiet hidden place for us to do it, then you'll have all the time you need.
Forests, dangerous as they are, it is not unheard of to hear the cries of men from within.
What time is it?
Gotta think of how your day's gone so far.
Yeah, it's a real question.
It's like mid-afternoon, I think.
Okay.
You headed back outside?
Sure.
Yeah. Is the plan? Are we dragging him out to the woods and ending him there?
Take him for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Step back out onto the porch, the Baron following you. And as he does so, he walks out into the garden, giving the chair with Isaac on it a bit of a wide berth. Many of the guards attempt to collect themselves and present appropriately. And standing about 10 feet away from Isaac, but facing him, the Baron calls. Isaac Strasny, I release you to guests of Valaki. Their determination of your punishment is theirs and sanctioned by myself, Baron Vargas Valakovich. And even where you are, standing behind Isaac, his head lifted towards the Baron, there is a tension in his body that changes as his shoulders sort of fall. And he says, "You cannot do this. You cannot do this. The Watcher woman will find your weakness." And with a surprising amount of ferocity in his stare, the Baron glares. Isaac cowers. Regret this. You will live to regret this. You and the last of your bloodline will suffer at her hands. And as he is continuing to beg for his life, the Baron walks back to the house towards you and releases Isaac to you. He is still restrained, though now he is fighting the bonds. You can hear the rope creak under his shoulders.
Eldrin Zezarek, did he say the Watcher woman? Does he mean that vampire we fought? The one with the mask? Didn't she say something like that?
I don't
What was
know.
it?
I don't know if she said
Valenta?
something like that, but I definitely heard it as we were walking Isaac back here through the crowd. I heard
Right,
just
right.
random people murmuring it. Now, Isaac, just because you have been released to our custody and to the determination of our justice does not mean that this is the end for you.
The Baron would decrease as such to myself. Should that be his will?
Well, then, lucky for you, we are not you. However, as I stated before, you want to do everything in your power to keep talking to me and not to my friend and my brother. And if you continue to fight against those ropes, I won't have anything left to discuss with you.
Make me an intimidation check.
Yeah, that's a 24, and I don't know if the 10 minutes is up or not. So
That only accounts for your persuasion.
Oh,
anyway.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a 24.
The glowering belligerence has absolutely been replaced by an animalistic fear. And him silencing himself is not a willful decision.
Well, I'm glad to see you still have enough wherewithal to at least calm yourself down a little bit. Let's get you back up on Floof here, and we'll all go for a little walk and have a little conversation while we do. I'll walk over and help him stand up.
You can bring him to his feet. Do you bring him to your mount?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll appeal to Rokea and Zeldrin. Y'all want to give me a hand here?
Yep.
Where are you taking him?
Yeah, that's a real good question. Anybody got any bright ideas?
Start
think-
walking the road.
Yeah, heading towards outside of town. I think passing by the cathedral, because I don't think Irina needs to come with us for this.
All right.
Okay. That is done. She is left at St. Andrew's, and you're heading towards the gate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we'll head towards, find a little deer path or something into the woods that is not heading towards like the elf camp or the Vistani or anything.
All right. We'll say you head
And as
north.
Head to the lake. Yeah.
we're walking, I would like to ask. So what can you tell us about this the Lady Watcher?
Lady Watcher. The heiress to the Watcher estate. Noble house in Vallaki, as old as the mountains. Yona Watcher. There's nothing she hates more in this world than Vargas Valakovich.
Why? What's he done?
He has neglected this city and he knows it. Its spirit is withering in his grasp.
Say the city is withering in his grasp. You are the hand with which he grasps the city.
Well, to whom is your true allegiance? To the Baron or to this Lady Watcher?
Baron has always defended mine. Decided today. Years of service have meant nothing. I owe nothing to Lady Watcher. I owe nothing to Baron Valakovich.
You ever seen her? What's she look like?
Old. Bitter.
All right, that's not really descriptive.
Hair is great. She has features of people of this land. Dark eyes.
Well, if you have no allegiance to her, why then did you invoke her wrath when the Baron left your fate up to us?
Her wrath is known in Vallaki. Hatred that of the Baron. Well seated.
Well, you've been keeping her at bay or something.
He grins.
She lives in the city?
She does.
You know where?
I'm finding it. Da-da-da-da. Northeast side of the city.
What, she wants to kill the Baron and what? Let, I'm assuming not the wife take over. What's her plan after that?
He shrugs. I only know her spite. You have brought him to the forest. What would you like to do? Just gonna let him go?
Trying to consider. It would
Zelly,
be yes.
a word, if you'd be so kind.
Mm-hmm.
I see that fire in your eyes, and I hear it in your voice. But imagine if we had been separated for 20 years. What lengths would you go to be reunited with me, or I to be reunited with you? And I am not suggesting that under those circumstances all is forgivable. However, does it truly warrant the death sentence? And I would be mad if I were forcibly removed from you for 20 years. Who knows what that madness would have me do were I to see you again.
Mm-hmm. I definitely see your point. I could imagine a scenario where I found you again and you knew not who I was, and fearing for your safety, I took you or some such. But what worries me more is that evil attached at his shoulder. I'm willing to hear a case. I do not know. Banishment is not off the table. I think if he were to leave this town and not return, and the townsfolk be made known that he is not welcome here, and that is a good measure. I don't know that I could ever truly believe that he would not return for Irina. Just as
Okay,
being banished from a town that I knew you resided in would not keep me from seeking you.
yes. Okay, I know I posed a question to my brother because of the obvious kinship, but that does not mean that your input is any less desired or valued.
Yeah, I can hear you, but I'm still standing over here. You had asked him to join. You had asked Eldrin to join you, so
No, I understand, but this is me inviting you to join us for this this portion of the conversation.
Floof, dear, if you could keep an eye on our friend, our guest.
Yeah. I got a question for you. I know it's been some time, but you mentioned werewolves. You have any idea where they are? It's sort of
They're wolves.
sort of
Sorry.
sort of a specialty of ours. Well, mine.
Let me see if he knows. That was a really good intelligence check, Isaac. I did not anticipate that. Da, 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 da. Now I've got to find it on the map. 1 second. Oh, okay. North of Lake Bartok. A den of werewolves. The service of Master Zorovich.
You know, I mean, I know it's been some time. They got there's a bunch of them. There's what, handful of them that do the dirty work.
Many in his service. They have free hunt over the Svalag woods.
Right. Might have to have a pop in, have a little conversation. So where'd you get the arm anyway? Like what's going on with that? I know why I'm the way I am. What somebody takes your arm for a chew toy and you just grow a black and red and spiky one.
Yes. There are dark powers in Barovia. Do not need to know of them, to speak to them, for them to manifest.
What, like the ladies with the cookies? Is that what you got? Is that how you got your arm?
Sisters of the Bone Grinder? No.
And just them then. All right.
Sorry, the note I just read is cracking me up. Sliders or Sisters of the Bone Grinder. Worst Girl Scout cookies ever.
And yet you bought one.
Oh, Isaac. You are not making it easy to show you any mercy. trying over here. I'm trying real hard.
You really are.
Yeah. I don't know. As much as I pray that there's a path back for everyone, even I must admit that not everyone can find that path in time. And Isaac, I am terribly sorry, but you are rapidly running out of time.
He gives you a look that is not begging. It is not pleading.
I am gonna look to Rokea. With that look that is, not speaking, but is basically saying, "Look, I'm out." What do you think?
How long have we been walking?
I have been under the assumption there's been like you've like found a spot within the woods and have sort of sat to talk. That said, you're easily like 15 minutes out of town.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out how much Rokea time I have left.
Okay, you're probably like if you want to have made use of Rokea, we can like wind clock back a little and you can use it, but like you for sure by the time you get back to town he will be out.
Okay, that's fine. I just meant right now.
Mhm.
I guess Rokea will just look over at Zeldrin. Like he's standing near Isaac still.
The Prince of Stars instructs us to combat evil, darkness-loving creatures. Isaac, I don't know if you yourself are evil, but you are incredibly contaminated by it at least. I do not believe that there is a world in which you continue and leave our friend Irina alone. I don't think there is a world where we banish you from Vallaki and you adhere to that. There is a darkness that you've admitted to conspiring with that is growing from your shoulder. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Zazarak. I do not believe there is a redemption that we can offer this man. I do not think we have the ability to cleanse him, but we must do what we must to make sure that those who are innocent are safe.
Well, Isaac, I am sorry, and I will cast Sacred Flame.
Describe to me what this does.
I mean, the spell itself is not anything unusual. It has the same effect that it always has. It is that silver moonlight that descends on the target quickly and sort of looked like, the floating sort of bits of dust in a, stream of sunlight. And as they hit the target, it just ignites in a quick burst of flame. And in this case, with all the damage that had been done to Isaac prior, it incinerates him rather quickly. Also not unique, but probably hasn't been seen, at least in the course of this campaign yet, is Zazarak looks pretty dejected about the whole thing. Is not, super pleased. And as soon as the deed is done, he pulls out, what's the best thing he's got for this? I can't believe this is the case, but he pulls out that goddamn crowbar and just starts using it to dig a hole in the ground.
I'm sorry, you used the crowbar.
It's the best tool I got. I don't have a shovel.
You have a burrowing hamster.
Oh, I do have a fucking burrowing hamster. You know what? I would not sully Floof with this particular task.
You know what? Okay.
Floof can stay pure.
I will start using my shield to help dig.
All right. Without the use of the space hamster for burrowing, this takes a lot of time. Rokea retreats.
I'd have just taken him behind a tree and torn his throat out or something. You didn't have to do that. Oh, it would seem his hour is up.
Ariam, truly, we have been friends for a long time, and as such, there is little that surprises me. But it always catches me off guard when the transition happens mid-sentence. I don't think I'll ever get used to that.
I will certainly try to have him be more mindful of how much time he has.
Oh no, please! It's not. That's not a Ariam or Rokea issue. That's a me issue. Like it's just that tone, the accent. It switches on a dime. There's a moment where I just get confused and have to remember. Oh yeah, no, this is. I get chatty when I'm burying a body that I didn't want to have to kill.
I am afraid I have nothing with which to assist you in this. I have no shield, I have no shovel, and unfortunately, with Rokea's time being up, I don't even have his big clawed hands anymore. So
I do imagine that in like Hanna-Barbera cartoon style, Floof in the background has dug and filled like 3 holes in the time that we're.
He sees us digging and just starts also digging.
Right.
He's like digging up mushrooms.
Right. Well, and I mean, like, he can communicate with me telepathically. So I'm sure this whole time he's like, dude, let me in. Like, I can do this. Let me in there. I'm like, no, cut it out.
The chill of the afternoon is taken by the exertion and suddenly you find yourselves armored, as many of you are, sweating through your clothes. And
For the record, I have Ariam has no way to assist in this dig. He is just
so you are sitting and shivering.
sitting awkwardly off to the side.
Oh wait, you
I'm
aren't
cold resist.
Cold
Yeah.
resistant. Yeah, you're sitting even more strangely now.
Sitting even more awkwardly off to the side.
And it is dusk
I will-
before there is not nearly a 6-foot hole, I think, but a satisfactory one.
Sorry, given Ariam's background as a blood hunter, while the hole is being dug, I would like to pour over this arm.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
genius.
Yeah, okay. I will allow for a nature or arcana check.
Woo! Okay, I've got proficiency in one of those.
And you have advantage.
Advantage. I wonder which of these rolls I should take. I don't know. Well, I guess the magnifying glass doesn't help. That would just give me advantage anyway. That's an 18.
Because you chose arcana, there is no doubt that this is an appendage from the lower planes. There is also the very real kind of dots that can be connected. So far, you have not encountered anything fiendish. I mean, you've not been in Barovia for very long, but so far that has not appeared in any capacity. But there are creatures that deal with fiends, that do offer trades and such on behalf of fiends. The indicator that was made, the thing that was mentioned earlier, possibly the sisters, that's, you certainly can't that's definitely where it came from, but that is a very real possibility. Creatures that have given and who have displayed an interest in having children, or keeping children, I should say, and are able to provide dreamlike, intense hallucinations, sort of formulaically aligns with, specifically, again, because of your the Hunter's Bane. Night hags are fiends and fae. They're primarily, stat-wise, a fiend, but they are fae creatures. That overlap is something that is pinging in your brain.
Yeah, I figured that. Nope, wrong one. I can't keep one accent straight, and I've got two for one character. Smart. Well, it's not exactly anything far from what we expected. It is almost certain that, if not with the sisters we met in particular, there are certainly likely to be other bargainers around, as it were. If I had to put money on it, I would suspect the sisters simply by proximity. We met them on our way here, and it would not be the first time we heard of a member of Velaki's citizenry making a deal with the hags at the mill. That's sort of part of how we got in the first place, I suppose, with Vasha and Christopher. suppose it's small solace then that it likely means there was no infernal possession of Isaac, but certainly he had made a deal with lower creatures, so it is likely that such a deal could have been called upon. We don't know exactly what he offered them in return for the arm.
Mhm. Yeah, I have expected us to make our decision and him to shed a outer layer and some demonic form to come forth and attack us. I'm glad that is not the case.
No, I suspect wherever poor Isaac has gone, that the bargain he made for his arm has finally come back to. Well, the bill has come due. It was bound to eventually. That does look deep enough. You can probably stop Zeldrin, Zazarek.
Very well.
Do you think if a wolf feeds on this arm, it's going to grow spines?
Oh, almost certainly. Yes. I expect that the taint in that thing is, if anything, we should probably make sure to incinerate it so that nothing does. I think I have a saw somewhere in here. Nope. I must have left that bag back in Daggerford.
Understood. And I will jump back in the hole and commence digging deeper.
I do have some alchemy supplies. I can probably melt it.
Yes, it will. I think that's certainly worth a shot.
Or we could simply light a fire, but I suspect that might take a little longer, given its fiendish nature. It may take some time, but it would burn. It should burn eventually.
Do you try that?
Do we have a blade capable of severing the arm?
Isaac still has his axe.
Well, this isn't my preferred weapon, but
The weight of it carries through for sure. And you do know that arm now was certainly one with the flesh of the shoulder. It comes free. Build a little pyre.
dig a little hole, like dig a little depression. Go ahead and
Boy Scout fire.
Yeah.
You can certainly get one going, and light. Throw the arm in, and you do not smell anything but the kindling burning.
As I suspected. Perhaps if we retrieve the arm, you can do the holy fire thing that the two of you do.
Yeah, I'll do my best to just steady, like continuous cast Sacred Flame on it.
And I will be doing the same.
All right. With time enough and more time than you'd like, the shell of it cracks and the flesh beneath begins to melt.
Look
And
away, McCormick.
and soon you have only what looks like a horrid scar of a torched tree branch.
Well, I do not think we'll be getting back in the town tonight. Sun has set on that possibility. I can reach out to Irina, let her know that we will be camping outside the town, and that we will be there to check in on her first thing in the morning.
Perhaps we should make our way to the Vistani.
Yes, I think that's an excellent idea.
Zeldrin, are you planning on casting Sending?
Yeah, I'll cast Sending.
Oh, hold on. Before you do that, you've used 2 third-level spell slots for Spirit Guardians, and then I believe you used Aura Vitality earlier today. Do you have another third-level slot?
I haven't used Aura of Vitality.
Okay.
I've only used the 2 Spirit Guardians. Was that today?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
then yeah, I don't have any spell slots.
You can make for the Vistani camp regardless. You just won't have the ability to cast.
Mm-hmm.
Even still, we could ask one of the guards to deliver a message, perhaps, at the gate.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
All right. You can approach the gate and leave a message with the guards. Anything specific you want them to pass?
I don't know what Zeldrin was going to send, so
Just that the earlier threat has passed, and that we'll meet back with you in the morning.
All right. And then you turn back to the forest?
Yeah,
Right.
we'll head towards the Vistani camp.
All right. You are seen by the elven guard who allow you in. Do you wish to speak with the elves, or do you go to the Vistani?
I kind of want to ask. I mean, it doesn't have to be Casimir; it could be anybody. But what they know about the sisters at the old mill.
Yeah. But you're asking the elves.
Yes,
Okay.
I figure they might have a better understanding of hags in general. Not that the Vistani don't know anything, but like, you know.
One of them tells you they are newer to this land. They are the 3 of them that live at the mill are the only amongst them that live as they do. Several witches live and wander Barovia. Many of them are in the service of Stradvan Zarovich, but those 3 They are content to sell their wares to anyone who will buy them.
You said they're the newest to come here to Barovia.
Yes. It was still before the mists came over the mountains. But there are... Oh, no, they are not the youngest. There is one who is older. I hear she was here before many of us were. But the Sisters of the Bone Grinder, I recall when they first entered the woods. There are younger witches in Barovia, though. Their power may be lesser or greater, tend to wander alone, and do not cross them.
There are they? We have seen that they operate in a coven of 3. Are they the only coven, or do the others also form those bonds, or are they more alone?
The oldest one, I believe she does not rely on that sort of power. I don't know about the others.
We chanced upon them when we were making our way to Vallaki. We to say that there was tension between our 2 groups would be a drastic understatement. Although I do wonder if, as far as their relative power, you said they are the newest. Are they also the weakest, or have they already managed to carve out a space for themselves here in Barovia? I mean, obviously they have carved out their own.
I'll clarify because I think when I tried to correct myself, I still wasn't clear enough. He says they are younger than the very oldest hag, but that there are other wandering witches that have kind of come since them. Them.
Got it.
Yes. They are not powers that we have dared test. Given their desired trade goods, we do not test them. They have not offered trade with us.
All right, that's all I was just curious. When we were hoping to rescue the child Vasha, there was a time when we suspected things may come to blows, and I simply it is the goal of the House of the Crescent Moon to protect people from the predations of creatures such as those. But, well, we are in this place now, and not in the lands where I can reach the House of the Crescent Moon. So, I simply wondered.
Your cause is noble. Seeing spirits such as yours is emboldening. How fares the world outside of the mist?
How long have you been away? That is, there has been a settling, certainly since the the weave was resolved again and the spell plague ended, but that was perhaps decades ago now. I don't know when it was that you and yours made your way here, but Faerun is much as it has ever been. There is certainly much work for the House of the Crescent Moon, but the sun still rises.
The oldest in this camp, Casimir, and others, could count some 500 seasons, 500 winters since the mists fell. I suppose that is a long time for most kind ordinarily, but when all that is your world is as stagnant, as immovable as Barovia, as these woods, as this people, it is one dreary, long dream.
I do suspect we have only scratched the tip of that particular well, but already I can feel this place weighing. The endless gloom, the ever-present mist, the things lurking beyond, that your elders have lasted so long is a testament to their strength, and perhaps their uh, fortitude in this will see them through to a resolution with the Lord of this land. If you don't mind my asking, how is it that the elves came to travel with the Vistani instead of uh, setting a home of their own? Certainly, you could have built your own walls, your own settlements.
Rahadin has been a persistent scourge. Our time with the Vistani is a promise, an alliance, kindness on their part. Zarovich does not see the Vistani as threats, perhaps even sees them frequently as allies. If we offer to protect the Vistani, here at least,
And they in turn protect you.
Yes.
Well, thank you for answering my questions. That is all I had.
Are all elves back home, are they all as strange as the three of you?
My companions, they are not from Faerun originally, farther out, I believe. Um, and I myself, as I am sure is apparent, am from below the waves, where things are considerably different than certainly on the land where you and your kin would have been from.
Oh,
My dealings in the House of the Crescent Moon, however, show me that um, we are even among the company of we three. I mean, even among the company of that particular house and the handful of elves within, we three are certainly still the strangest in the bunch. It works for us fairly well.
I could not speak for Casimir, but I would wish that then the three of you would at least find home with us if you ever need. Means more than you can possibly understand to see faces that feel like family.
As it stands for this evening, at least, we will be certainly calling upon your hospitality, and hospitality of the Vistani. We have had our own tasks out here, and it seems we have stayed too late. I don't know if the Baron's man Isaac has ever come out here to bother the Vistani or yourselves, or has bothered you in town at all, but that should certainly be something you never find a problem again.
He expresses some relief, though maybe not the exuberance that you would expect from someone who knows the situation more closely. And he offers you space within one of the hovels with surrounding the Vistani encampment. These places are warm, dry. Often there are one or two elven gentlemen in within, but there's room enough for each of you to meditate.
Desirek, Zildjian, shall we rest here, or would you prefer to speak to not Algernon, Jesus criminy.
Aragol.
Erika. Would you perhaps prefer to speak to Aragol before?
Let me grab some flowers from over here. And
I believe this should suit us just fine.
yes, I am quite tired.
Anything the three of you wish to discuss or prepare before you take your long rest? All right. Then we'll take our 15-minute break. We'll come back with, I'll give you the opportunity to rise at the end of your trance or daybreak. So
we can't go back to town until morning.
Yeah.
So I would think we just sort of ride it out till morning. I mean, we can.
Hmm.
I suppose we could get up in the middle of the night and then just kind of help out around the Vistani camp,
Mm-hmm.
keeping guard or whatnot, hunting.
You can certainly keep guard. Almost all of them are asleep. Many of them are passed out, drunk around fires. Like, they do not seem to have a concern for their safety. But dawn will come, and you can head back to Valaki. Is that right?
I believe so.
Right. Once you have assessed your anti-vampirism, you are allowed entrance. And where would you like to go?
Well, let's head back to the cathedral first and check in with Irina.
Mhm.
Okay.
Wonderful.
All right. The dawn coming, or the dawn broken, I should say. The front doors are open to allow in some morning light and air. Thin curling mists cross the graveyard and the streets around you. Irina can be retrieved by Yeska, who is already awake. She looks a little worse for wear, having slept on a hard cot overnight. Are you all right?
Yeah, we're doing fine. Sorry to leave you without any. We took longer than we thought we would, and dusk had arrived before we had finished with our task. But that brute won't be bothering you anymore.
Thank you. I'm sorry to have caused you all more trouble.
It is not your fault. We couldn't have known what was awaiting in this town. Sorry we left you assuming things would be all, you know. I'm glad that we were able to find you. It was a stroke of very good luck.
I believe today is the day of the festival. Are you intending on attending?
I think I'm very curious. I want to see what's going on. If the rest of you are down with that, I think attending would be nice.
It'd be a solid way to relieve some of the stress of yesterday, I suppose.
At least sate some curiosity.
I believe that is maybe taking place at noon, I think that was said. Gives you some, there is time this morning. Have you eaten yet, or have you still been eating rations?
Nothing very full. Just rations this morning.
What would you like to do with your morning?
How much is a shield? I think it might finally be time to go buy a shield.
You want to wander around for a store?
Yeah. Sorry, excuse me. Yes, please.
All right.
Although with the markup that we constantly find here, who knows how well this will go.
Markup in the good town of Vallaki.
Oh, you said a shield is 20 gold pieces? Oh, okay. Well, in that case, do you know where I could find someone who owns a shield?
They just point at Zeldrin.
Okay. You can inquire with like Yeska, who can point you to the opposite side of town, to Erasek Stockyard, as the he says it's a pretty impressive warehouse that has most trade goods. This is where I go and get candles.
You for the assistance, Yeska. Is this perhaps the only place, or if they do not have what I am seeking, is there somewhere else that I could inquire?
Maybe the Burgermaster would be the other place to acquire military goods, but I would I I would trust Gunter to have what you're looking for.
We'll
Speaking
see.
of the
Thank you.
Baron military goods, what did we do with what's his face's axe?
That is a good question. I do not believe I would have held on to it after chopping off his arm. So, as I said, it is not exactly my particular weapon of choice.
What if maybe we, buried him near the base of a tree and then dug the axe into the tree as kind of a place marker or something?
That's fine.
We'll say that way none of us are carrying around, the likely recognizable axe of Isaac.
Okay. Are you following Yeska's directions?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it is across town, all the way over here. And on your way, you see plenty of now complete banners that have been laid on top of old, faded banners, lining pretty much the entirety of this main road. Plenty of torch sconces as well that have been placed on the walks. You also see that there is dark clouds overhead. It's quite cold, and a sharp wind has rolled in some heavy cloud cover. And you, upon entering the town square, see the great wooden pyre and the place where you had struck down Isaac just yesterday. You see a large stockyard with several locked sheds along its periphery, and uh, 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 along its periphery that lies adjacent to a roomy warehouse. There's a wooden sign above the front gate that reads Arasek Stockyard. And parked at the south end of the stockyard is a sturdy carnival wagon. Colorful paint has been peeling. Faded letters on the side of it spells Rictavio's Carnival of Wonders. There's a heavy padlock on the back door. But you can approach the warehouse itself. There's lights within.
I will just go right in if they look like they're open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's early, but they're setting up. See a younger middle-aged couple who are putting things together. Both of them in tradesmen. Trying to think of like economic strata. They are clearly not poor and like struggling, but they do not carry themselves or wear the clothing of nobility. These look like successful folks. It is early enough though that they do not have that many people. Seem a little surprised to see guests, but are welcoming. Good morning. Is there anything we can help you find this morning?
Hello. Yes. My name is Ariam Kashai. These are my friends Eldrin and Zezarak. I am hoping to procure from you a simple warrior's shield.
Oh, it's good to meet you. My name is Yelena. This is my husband, Gunther. We might have something that might work for you. We occasionally have travelers who come who make better or find better wares and have no need to carry such items. Just one moment, and I will roll to see if they have what you need in stock. Yeah. She wanders out of the warehouse briefly, just kind of watching where she heads. She goes towards one of the locked sheds with a ring of keys. She returns a few minutes later. In her hands, a sturdy wooden thing that is not particularly well decorated, but certainly serviceable. Dusty and cobwebbed. Will this do?
I do believe it will. May I examine it for a moment?
Of course.
Yeah, just give it a few hard knocks. Make sure everything seems in order.
Yeah, it's old, but not rotted. Kept surprisingly dry, which is excellent sign.
Perfect. This would be exactly what I needed. And
Excellent.
sorry, go ahead.
For this item, we would charge you 5 gold.
Done. I plunk down my last 5 gold coins.
Her husband retrieves that coin.
Is there anything else we can help you with?
I suspect this is it for me for now. Zeldrin, Zezarak?
I think if you're set, we're set. Or I'm set. I don't mean to speak for you, Zaz.
I'm just curious, given our most recent endeavor, you have a shovel back there?
Oh, yes. This is actually within the warehouse. It is actually available. you can find one. Just at cost, which is 2 gold.
Holy moly. All right, well, very well. I will purchase the shovel on my way to becoming the shoveler.
You've got the crowbar and the shovel.
Mm-hmm.
To have such good customers so early in the morning? Anything else?
Any advice you could share with us for the best way to enjoy the festival?
Oh, yeah. The masters of the Blue Water Inn, they often supply copious amounts of wine. I recommend you take part.
I'm sorry, what was the name of that place?
The Blue Water Inn, the place you guys stayed a few nights ago.
Gotcha. Ah, yes, Blue Water. I'm sorry, I'm still used to Blue Otter.
Well, that's what they said, isn't it, RM? Otter like the animal. Very well.
Okay. Gear acquired. What do you want to do? Do you want to just kind of while away for a bit?
I think Zazarak would like to camp out, just find a seat, at the grounds of this festival and watch as whatever final preparations are being made and watch as people start trickling in.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. There are people who are working to set up small booths. You do see the Malakovich, is that the name? It sounds right.
Yeah, from the Blue Water Inn, that family.
Yeah. You see the 4 of them are coming up to like with a wagon hauling one of those very large casks and setting it up along with the table and a few spare mugs around as well. There are a number of other folks who set up tables of different kinds, small trinkets being offered, handmade things. Most of the booths are people who have made or like who are like not selling but stocking torches. That's what you see a lot of. Many people are just doing this with a rhythm of disinterest but obligation.
Mm-hmm.
And the sky presses down, gets colder, and you could swear you hear thunder rolling. Is there anything anyone wants to do? Ariam?
I will definitely make sure I'm at the Blue Water at some point for the drinks we were told about.
At their booth, or do you want to go to the tavern itself?
Probably their booths. I mean, we've been to the tavern; it's nice enough, but if they've got a specific setup for the party, um, Zezarak, Seldrin, perhaps we should see if, um, I imagine that uh, the good staff at St. Andrew's will be quite preoccupied today. Perhaps we could see um, if Vasha and Christopher would like to enjoy the festival.
That sounds like a fantastic idea.
I assume that swinging by St. Andrew's will not be too far out of our way, and I mean, that's where they were the last we saw them, so. Yeah, I will.
Hop back across town.
Yeah, getting my steps in.
Yeah, you can go. You can go back to the temple. Speak with the kids that you left there. They seem Christopher sort of wrinkles his nose and quietly murmurs, "Is it another festival today?"
Yes, although I have never been to one of these festivals, so I'm counting on some seasoned professionals in the two of you to make sure to tell us what we should be doing and what we should not be doing. None of the three of us have been to one of these festivals. Well, four of us, including Irina, have been to any of the. I don't think you've never been here. Okay, you've never left Barovia. Yes, so none of us have been to these festivals. We'll need a couple experts to show us how it's done.
Okay, you just need to smile. And he puts his fingers in his cheeks and kind of pushes them up into a grin.
Yeah, I will give a freaky fishman grin.
Gotcha.
Big shark teeth.
As you begin walking with them back across town, Christopher tells you, "There is a lot of these. They are not as fun as they used to be." Zeldrin, what do you want to do in the morning?
I mean, I think I'll just spend some time at the cathedral while we're waiting, and you know, talk with the father and stuff, and prepare not for. I don't think Zeldrin is preparing for a like fun day at the festival, but rather like um just worried about what this is going to wind up being.
Okay. Come near enough to noon, Father Lucian tells you that it is time to get going, and he fetches some warm robes, looks out the window at the sky, kind of tisks to himself, and dresses warm. And the three of you can reconvene with Irina and the two children at the city center. As more people
leave their house, filing out into the road and into the same path as you. Under the threatening skies, a parade of beleaguered children dressed as flowers trudge through the stony streets, leading the way for a group of sorry-looking men and women who carry a 10-foot diameter wicker ball woven from those twigs you saw within the Burgomaster's manor. The Burgomaster himself and his smiling wife, who is holding a very sad bouquet of wilting flowers, follow the procession on horseback. Weary spectators watch from their stoops. The ball is borne to the town square and hoisted and hung from a 15-foot high wooden scaffold over the pyre. Townsfolk take turns splashing the wicker ball with buckets of oil, and before as this sort of ritual procession is beginning to pitter out, and the Burgomaster and his wife find place on horseback in sort of focal point amongst the town center. Many citizens are distributed torches, flint, and their torches are lit. It suddenly feels much warmer than it did with all of the flame, as small as each might burn, as much as there is spread throughout the population. A torch of steel is handed to the Burgomaster. There is, from where he sits, he calls out in a voice that echoes amongst the buildings. We have here guests in Vallaki, members of honor within our city that have done us good service, offered us solace in the loss of our known Isaac Strasny. Travelers, and he gestures for the four of you. He says, we offer you the opportunity to, as you have given hope to my own household and to the city at large, now share your flame, and holds out the torch to the four of you.
I'll reach out and grab the torch.
Right. He gestures for you to approach the now like oil-soaked orb.
I will do so.
Right. Walk forward and hear yet another rumble through the sky, and hear the sound of rooftops being struck by rain. Feel it in your hair and on your clothes, and each of you, and soon the city at large, in moments, are under downpour. And you feel the torch sputter in your hands.
Where is the contingency rain location for these festivities?
All will be well. And he waves his hand to like push you to continue.
Oh, you want me to light this?
He nods with increasing fervor.
Yeah, I'll light the not at all suspect wicker ball doused in oil.
You
If it ever looks like the torch is about to go out, I will prestidigitate a new flame onto it.
excellent, because I was gonna say as you turn around, the torch is out. A new flame is flicked onto the end of the torch, and as quickly as the rain has started, the from where you sit essentially on the lower below the wicker ball, there is enough dryness, enough oil that the oil catches abruptly and swallows the entire thing in flame. Quickly doused on its upper hemisphere, but the bottom burns and then the wood starts to smoke. The effect is strange. You don't hear anyone screaming inside, if any of you are deeply concerned.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh yeah.
When y'all brought that up a few weeks ago, I was like, that's far more fucking morbid than this game, God. But with the top half of the blazing sun not lit, but the bottom half beginning to burn, the crowd stands in soaked disappointment, and there is a chuckle heard, a chuckle that kind of turns into an abrupt, sudden, and then staunched laugh. Baron's head snaps in the direction. That glare that you saw given to Isaac in their parting moments towards a militia member who has just their hand clapped over their mouth and their eyes wide. Rain continues to pour, and the streets, as full as they are, with processioners, citizens watching from their porches. One by one, the torches lit for the blazing sun are extinguished. People quietly begin to mill. Many people immediately flock to the stall for the Blue Water Inn and begin dropping coin after coin after coin for wine. The Baron and the Baroness stay mounted, watch as the orb pitters and sputters, a colossal waste of wood and oil.
I will do my best. Nope. Nope. Nope.
What?
That's that every time it's like starting to hiss and go out, I will try to
You
relight
just
it.
keep sparking it?
I got this. I'm just waiting for the Baron to go away. Like, you got flame. All right, cool. Go back to your house.
Honored guests will be seen at dinner. within our state. He calls again, calling the city's attention. But as soon as he has finished his announcement, everyone just turns their rain-soaked heads back to whatever whispers or whatever they might have been doing. Eventually, he and his wife trot back to the main road.
And then I'll let the orb go out once they're gone.
Oh, Arium. Thank goodness I think I figured it out. I found this book. It's entitled To Serve Our Honored Guests. It's a cookbook, Arium. It's a cookbook.
Nice. Well, is there anything we want to do before this evening's meal? I think it's perhaps best if the children are back at St. Andrew's before that. They should not need to find themselves quite so bored as to dine at the Baron's.
I cannot believe I'm actually suggesting this, but do we want to stop by this doll maker's shop?
Zeldrin, something's wrong. Something's wrong. Something's taken over your brother.
Kill it with fire!
We're getting there.
I mean, I will say I am curious.
Well, speaking of which, where's that fella with a monkey?
The one with the monkey or the one who had the monkey?
Well, wasn't there a gentleman in yellow with a monkey?
He no longer has the monkey. He gave it to the toy maker.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. But you can't actually spot him in the crowd because he stands out, because even the coat he's wearing is yellow. He's wearing a tanned deer skin cloak, which looks rather yellow. It's waxed as well. He amongst very few others appears to be dressed for the weather, and he is talking with Erwin from the Blue Water Inn.
What's his demeanor look like?
He's talking with his hands and talking a lot, and seems to be cracking some joke.
All right, doesn't seem to be too upset about his former monkey friend. Well.
You want to go speak with him, or you just you just wanted to see him?
No, I was just curious. As one gets around the man in yellow.
God fucking damn it. Do you wanna hunt down the toy maker? You wanna hunt down the toy maker?
I think I would like to swing by the shop, and if it's closed because he's at the festival, that's fine. But I'd like to get eyes on where this shop is.
Sure.
There's just been a couple too many coincidences.
Do you want to ask anyone, or do you want to wander?
I think I want to wander a little bit. Just, I mean, I think. Wait, hold on. No, I thought I had a general direction from the inn for Blinksy's shop, but I do not. So I'll just wander.
Okay.
See if I can find it.
Sure. You don't find it in the town square.
Mhm.
Kind of hit the main road, and passing the Blue Water Inn on your way back towards the gate in the church. Let's see. Not terribly far from the main road.
Mhm.
You almost have to, but you do like do a double take to find it.
Mhm.
Find a cramped shop. Dark portico, above which hangs a wooden sign shaped like a rocking horse with a letter B engraved on its side.
I burned it to the ground. No. Open, closed?
There are lights on inside.
Yeah, I'm gonna step inside.
All right. Flanking the entrance are two arched leaf-framed windows, or that was lead-framed windows. Through the dirty glass, you see a jumbled display of toys, and hanging placards bear the sign, "Is no fun, is no Blinksy." The interior of the store is likewise cramped. There are lights, but it feels dark. There's dust in the upper corners and cobwebs. And there is a short, heavy-set gentleman with the with a well manicured goatee, um, who is like behind the counter. He's wearing um, a very sad moth-eaten jester's cap patched in green and blue. It does not match the rest of his working clothes, however. And crawling on the desk is a small monkey, kind of messing with the things that he is sort of working with at the table. When the door jingles open, he looks up and, with kind of big, wet eyes, says, "Good morning. There's a customer. Good morning, strange traveler. Uh, house, welcome to the House of Blinksy, where happiness and smiles can be bought at bargain prices. Perhaps you have little children in need of joy, a little toy for a girl or boy?"
Oh, well, I I do know some children that may, in fact, uh, enjoy one of your toys, but I was just getting acquainted with Valaki and saw this establishment and thought I would stop in. My name is Zazarak Sunstrider, and I'll
Pleased to
extend
meet
my
you.
hand.
Yeah, he puts a big hand into yours. I feel prudent to acknowledge that the monkey kind of turns, doesn't really fully stand on its 2 feet, but you
Mhm.
see that it has been fitted with a frilly ballerina tutu,
Mhm.
um, and is sort of like ripping at the edges of the fabric a little bit.
Mhm. Mhm. And your name, so?
Blinksy, god of Blinksy,
Mm.
wizard of tiny wonders.
Does that extend to your friend? And I will extend a hand to the monkey.
Oh, Piccolo! He, in turn, extends his hand. Based on where he is, he's slightly closer, and the monkey jumps to his shoulders immediately and crosses to his other side. This is a friend of mine. Yes, very helpful for the hard to reach things. Piccolo,
Mm.
would you mind? Uh, and he points upwards to a high shelf, and the monkey jumps, catches on the shelving, and grabs something. and then brings it down. You um, it appears to be a rattling set of nesting dolls,
Mhm.
but only the largest one to be seen on the outside.
Mhm. Well, it is very nice to meet you, Blinksy, and very nice to meet you, Piccolo. It seems like you have quite a partnership that you are working on here. Although, by the looks of it, Piccolo would prefer a different wardrobe.
We are trying many new things. He did
Hmm.
not like the hat. He did not like the blouse. He did not like the hose, the doublet. We are trying.
Hmm.
We are trying. We will
And I
not
would
give up.
imagine, yes, I would imagine that there's a toy maker and a doll maker. Um, you probably have access to many clothes that are perfectly sized for Piccolo.
Precisely. No, we make things. We make custom orders all the time. All the time.
Hmm. Speaking of which, I was lucky enough to be invited by Isaac to have a little conversation with him, and I couldn't help but notice that he had many of your fine wares in his room. Has he put in lots of custom orders with you?
Yes, in fact, I am waiting for him to pick one up now. Piccolo, the red one. And the monkey once again jumps,
Mhm.
not to a high shelf, but behind the working counter, and retrieves a doll in a red dress and black cloak, like the one uh, that she has been wearing most recently. And the face indeed looks exactly like Irina,
So it's dressed like Irina is currently dressed.
more or less, yeah.
Awesome. I quit D&D forever. Well, today is your lucky day. I am one of the 4 honored guests from the Baron, and will be his guest for dinner this evening, and I would be more than happy to take this doll and deliver it to
Oh,
Isaac on your behalf.
that is tonight, is it not? Oh, my poor head. Lost track
Yes,
of days in here.
I was going to ask, not that I'm certainly not looking to get anybody into any trouble, but everyone in town was quite adamant about how important the festival was, and yet you were here.
Yes, working. We have much work to do. If the dinner is tonight, we have other things to prepare. Bring to the dinner.
Oh, you have preparations that you must make for the dinner. I was unaware. Is there anything that I can assist you with?
Oh no, 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 no! This is the joy is in the work and in
Mm.
the distribution of it.
Would
Must
it
make the little ones happy.
would it be too disruptive of me to inquire as to what preparations you are making for tonight's dinner?
So it is customary for me to prepare special items, more of these tiny wonders. Bring to the dinner, give to the masters of the noble houses, and they bring them
Hmm.
home to their children. It is the goodwill request of Baron Valakovich.
Well, that is very kind of you. And is this a gift of generosity, or is the Baron compensate you for your
Oh,
efforts?
he certainly compensates.
Oh, well, I could not tell by the tone if you are happy with the compensation with which you receive.
No, believe me,
It is a blessing to be able to keep my shop doors open, even in these dire times. It is a true happiness to serve the burgomaster in this way.
Mm. It's a very unique slogan that you have. Well,
He's no fun. He's no Blinksy. Each one of these is a handcrafted tiny wonder by my own hands. Every one of them is their own fun. He opens up the nesting dolls and begins placing them one by one on the counter. And as they descend in size, each one appears to depicts the face of someone older and older and older, and the tiniest, smallest of them has a is a painting of a mummified corpse.
Awesome. Just for shits and giggles, I would like to take a deep breath.
To both your own staunch concerns and alarm, there is nothing to be detected here.
Well, I must say, Blanksy, the nesting dolls both indicate a high degree of craftsmanship and are in fact a bit creepy. You couldn't have painted a happier face on these things?
But you do not like it?
Well, it's not that I don't like it. It just a bit concerning with I mean, particularly if these are going to end up in the hands of children, maybe something a little happier, something a little less likely to induce nightmares.
Well, what about this? He reaches up himself this time and pulls a small string, and a mobile begins to spin round and round and circle, flapping bats on a little mobile above your head. But this is delightful, is it not? A little bit of nature. Just as this. And he begins resetting the nesting dolls.
Yes, they are quite lovely, as Zazarak is pinching the bridge of his nose. Well, I will leave you to your work.
Perhaps there is something here that I can send you out with. Yes, the mobile, only 9 silver pieces. You want something happy? Yes, we have this, and he produces he hands you first a doll with no head, and then turns back and then shows you a stack of attachable heads. Some of them smiling, some of them kind of contemplative. One of them has its eyes and mouth stitched shut. Also 9 silver pieces. Or nine copper pieces. 9 copper pieces.
Blanksy, here's what I will do. I will leave you now with this doll for Isaac. I mean, I will take that doll off your hands and take responsibility for the delivery for you. Furthermore, I promise you that I will return with my friend and with my brother. But the last thing that I would want to do is be responsible for some poor child to have to go toyless this evening because I was taking up any more of your time. So, Blanksy, Piccolo, it has been a real pleasure meeting both of you. You, Blanksy, are a wonderful craftsman, and The two of you have a wonderful partnership, and I cannot wait to return with my friend and with my brother so that we might have more time to peruse your wares.
His trembling chin looks like it is about to protest, but he does not he does not restrain you from exiting without purchase.
Yeah, when I'm out of sight from the windows of this thing, I'm running.
All right. You run to meet everybody else.
Yeah.
All right. Well, did you guys go to the church? Is that where you guys went? Or did you guys stay in the city? Tyler fell asleep.
At some point, we do have to swing back by St. Andrew's to drop off the children, but that when it starts getting closer to dinner time, I guess, because that's when we're supposed to go meet the Baron. I will see if there are any. Once we have collected Zezarak, see if there are any games or events that they particularly wanted to do. But beyond that, no, I don't think there is anything else. Nothing specific, rather, for Arian.
All right. The kids are not interested in being here, and the minute you give them the opportunity to leave, they take it.
You try to do something.
Now you know how the Baron feels.
The whole thing is his idea. That's not quite the same. All right. Well, Zezarak, Zeldrin, I'm out of ideas. Did we ever get anything from the Blue Water?
No, I just got back from. I found a toy maker, Ariam. He's so creepy. He's so creepy, Ariam. I mean, yeah, I feel bad saying it. He seems like a lovely individual, but oh my goodness, all of the toys are just morose. They're so sad or creepy or scary. I don't. And look, I mean, I wish there was a better way to put this, a more delicate way to put this, but. There is not, at least I can't think of one. Isaac had commissioned another doll.
Oh, dear.
And I'll just hand it over.
Oh.
I mean, the craftsmanship is quite something, but it's creepy. Am I right? I don't know how else to describe it.
It's made all the creepier by the fact that we know there are more of these waiting in his room.
Yeah, and perhaps the worst of it is when I went to leave, he was very insistent that I purchase something, and particularly given the upcharging that has gone on at every other establishment that we have come across, the prices were astonishingly low.
Oh.
And when I left without something, it looked like he was going to cry.
You should speak to your brother, who should do whatever it is that he does to review and make sure that you are not suddenly cursed.
Well, from that lovely old man and his monkey?
From whatever purchase you have just made, since...
Oh, that's the thing. I made no purchase. I
But
purchased...
you have... But there's this doll that you didn't have before.
Yes, he said he was waiting for Isaac to come pick it up. And I figured, given certain developments, it'd be best if no one was waiting on Isaac to do anything.
Yes.
So I offered to make the delivery for her. I offered to take responsibility for the delivery. Which I have done. And I have this doll. And in a vacuum, the doll is lovely. It's remarkable, really. But I mean, and is Irina with us?
She's like nearby.
Oh Christ, covered up. I mean, look, the clothes are the same area.
Is it perhaps best to not hold on to it, or?
I honestly don't know. I mean,
I worry that it might find its way to you if you were to dispose of it right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big part of my brain that is just screaming, burn it with fire. But on the other hand, I mean, it is remarkable. It is a lovely piece. And look, I can't believe I'm going to say it, but it's no fun. It's no Blinksy.
He'll be here all week, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to tip your servers.
I'll cast a quick little detect magic and look at the doll and just make sure that it's not like voodoo or something.
No, there's no magic on the doll. There is no subtle curse or anything upon Zazarak either.
God.
I think we're probably good to destroy this thing. Beautiful as it may be, I think it is a memento of something that does not need to be mementoed.
Well, how about it?
That's entirely up. Yes, that's entirely up to you, Zazarak. It is your air quotes purchase.
Oh well. All right. Well, let me gather up the children. Maybe they'll have a good time smashing it to bits.
Just give them the crowbar.
Crowy, no. Oh God, no.
Okay.
Here, take my double-bladed scimitar. but you will not lay hands on old Crowy.
Take this ancient elven blade, but not my crowbar.
Yeah. No, like I'll help him gather up rocks, and let him try and peg it from a distance with rocks for a while. And then we'll get some sticks and bash that, and we'll just have a grand old time, like chucking it around the yard or whatever,
There are like some other kids around Christopher's and Vash's age, and then some older kids as well that are like, "Hey, can we help?"
Right. I mean, everybody's welcome, right? I am going to keep an eye on the older kids, right? And make sure that this remains a collaborative effort and not just the older kids, exerting their physical dominance over the situation.
I think the older kids are thrilled to have something that vaguely interests them as an activity. And so they're being very cautious that it could be taken from them at any moment.
Gotcha.
And there is porcelain pieces, strands of auburn hair, and torn fabric scattered within the streets within a short amount of time.
And
I'm
surprisingly,
going to do
like,
my best
then
to
some
gather all those.
smiles.
I'm going to do my best to gather all those little bits and pieces up. And after I do, I'll just explain. I could not have it on my conscience if that poor Blinksy fellow is walking the streets and is able to identify any of these bits and pieces. Come on, Shovely. We've got some work to do.
Okay. You have the afternoon until dinner. Is there anything anyone wants to remark they take care of? Or any plans you want to make?
I mean, one of these days we all got to make it to the vineyard, right? Wait, did I just dream about that?
Hmm?
The vineyard. Don't we have to go to a vineyard, secure wine for both the inn and the Vestrani?
Didn't we already take care? We had to supply the Vistani, right? Oh, good lord! Did
hasn't
the
been
proprietor
taken
of the Blue Water send us?
Right.
He-
It's his father-in-law, isn't it?
with the father, who actually would be the one we'd need to speak to, but that's about a day's travel outside of town.
Yeah, I mean, I was beginning to think that I just dreamt about it, but no, I believe, Zeldrin, you are correct in that, like, it's like a day's out of town, and like we keep saying we're going to do it, and it's going to be like the second thing we do, right, in a day,
Just
and we just keep getting waylaid.
Low on the priorities whenever
Yeah.
there are relics and vampires and
Yo, absolutely, and kidnappers about,
Yep.
and fucking terrifying doll makers.
Well, perhaps we can put that on the to-do list. There's also the Amber Cave that
Temple.
that I'm curious to learn more about.
Well, it sounds like we've got a couple options for tomorrow, but as for the rest of the day, perhaps a little bit more relaxation in drier confines than the festivals this afternoon, and then we'll see what this lovely dinner's all about.
Hmm.
Okay. I think that's a good spot to call it for tonight.